Fresh meat.
It's okay. It's okay. We're okay. We're okay.
That's
It's okay.
That's
Where?
Mom.
Oh my God.
You Can Count Me Among the Many Who Are Suitably Impressed was a work John Krasinski did in A Quiet Place. Its small-scale, heartfelt story, told against an epic, apocalyptic backdrop, was a tight, nerve-jangling piece of pop entertainment. Helmed by someone in clear command of the medium, it's safe to say no one expected Krasinski to announce himself as a filmmaker to be reckoned with, considering there is no true indication of that to be found in his previous directorial efforts. A Quiet Place stunned a lot of us with its lean, mean efficiency, and I'm happy to say it wasn't a fluke. A Quiet Place Part 2, which is refreshingly just as no frills in terms of story as the first film, yet just as compelling. It being a sequel, there was always a danger of losing some of the freshness of the first chapter, but it picks up right where the last one left off, so effortlessly that it feels like more of a continuation of that story than a predictable Part 2. Now what's more, Krasinski, who wrote the screenplay solo this time around, thankfully avoids the bigger is better mantra most Hollywood sequels subscribe to, keeping its focus more directly on our returning protagonists, while still widening the scope of the world to give us a better idea of what's going on beyond the Abbott farm. And when A Quiet Place 2 begins, we have to wait a moment. Because first we are brought to day one. Krasinski kicks off the movie with a frightening prologue, which begins with a slice of pure Americana as Lee, Evelyn, and the rest of their small town attend a baseball game, and ends with the monsters arriving from above. It's a sequence worthy of vintage Spielberg, certainly some shades of War of the Worlds here, and it perfectly sets up the tone for a movie that will be both scary and sentimental. These films wouldn't move us if we didn't care about the Abbotts, and a brief look at their happier life before it all went to hell hammers home that we're invested in their survival. Yet Krasinski doesn't take it easy on the remaining Abbotts. Oh no. Perhaps more than the first go-around, A Quiet Place 2 is never-ending in its trauma it inflicts on these poor folks, hurling them into countless near-death experiences and almost giving us, the audience, a collective heart attack in the process. It's a testament to how well made A Quiet Place 2 is, that we're constantly on edge, believing it's possible that Krasinski will do the unthinkable to these courageous but exhausted people. And Krasinski's actors are more than up to the task. Emily Blunt is riveting as ever, although Evelyn is surprisingly more of a supporting player here, leaving Simmons and Jupe to be the central figures of the story. And both young actors perform quite well, delivering two excellent performances filled with poignancy, distress, and sometimes considerable anguish. There's a new man in town as well. The surviving Abbotts encounter Everett, a solid Cillian Murphy, an old friend from the before days, and their initial meeting with him is far from pleasant. There is a moment that will have the entire audience gasping in disbelief. Everett has clearly seen some bad stuff, and his sanity may be questionable at best, but he's the only port in the storm that keeps growing more foreboding. Soon after we meet Everett, Krasinski makes the interesting decision to separate our characters, giving us a three-pronged attack on the senses as we follow each character running afoul in dire threats, both alien and human. And yes, we finally get a good look at some of the other folks in town who haven't fared so well. And it ain't pretty. It's a bold strategy that pays off, and the editing work by Michael P. Shaver should be applauded. Without spoiling anything, there are prolonged sequences in the second and third acts that cut feverishly between each subplot, all of them building to an unbearable crescendo, and Krasinski and Shaver did not botch the delicate balancing act one bit. As for the monsters, they're just as creepy and fascinating as they were in the first film. Fortunately, Krasinski resists the urge to give us more background on them, which he should get applauded for. He is content to keep them as the unholy, unexplainable terrors that they are. These movies are refreshingly low on exposition and unnecessary backstory, instead just trusting us to go along for the ride. At the end of the day, we still don't know all that much about our central family aside from the bare basics, but that's part of the franchise's allure. Krasinski is interested in the small dramas and horror scenarios, the skin-crawling details. Remember the nail in the first film? And as long as he pulls those moments off, we are completely engaged in the experience. The third act as a whole doesn't quite have the raw power of the previous two, but in the film's final moments, Krasinski once again gives us a conclusion that's as nail-biting as it is satisfying. For all of their ferocity, these movies still have to be crowd pleasers, and we don't get shorted here. I'll just add that seeing the film on a big screen featuring the incredible sound a movie theater provides was a wonderful time, as A Quiet Place 2 is indeed a movie designed for the theatrical experience. It's beautifully shot, the sound design is second to none, it is short and sweet at 97 minutes, and it is positively successful in what it sets out to do from start to finish. A Quiet Place Part 2 is superb entertainment, and something that must be seen. And so we are giving it an 8 out of 10. Air on the Head says check it out.
The people that are left, what they've become, they're not the kind of people worth saving.
Cillian Murphy plays Emmett. His talent is so good at all times, we couldn't wait to have him jump in our world. The beauty of Cillian's character was that there's so much loss in his life. He doesn't feel the need to be a part of any community.
He is shut down, unwilling to help, frightened, fearful, done.
I don't know why you came all the way up here. There's nothing left.
That encounter they have in that tiny little space is incredibly charged and incredibly intense.
I can't help you.
Please.
He's actually a representation of the rest of the world. There's a darkness to him, and there's a fear level to him that makes him unpredictable.
You don't know, do you? Oh, I do.
That's what we're trying to create, that the audience goes, oh my God, what would I do if I was in that situation? I was just blown away by it.